Good morning, this is Ken. What comes to mind when you hear Shell? In Japan, Shell is widely known as a gas station brand, often recognized by its iconic yellow seashell logo. But did you know that Shell operates quite differently abroad? For instance, Shell is heavily investing in EV charging infrastructure overseas, a move that could reshape the future of gas stations. This raises some questions. Is Shell in Japan involved in this trend, or is Shell even a Japanese company? Many people are confused about these points. Today, I'll explain Shell's EV charging business, highlight the differences between Japan and overseas, and discuss its relationship with ENEOS. I'll also share examples of how gas stations abroad are transforming into EV charging hubs and explore whether such changes could happen in Japan. Stay with me until the end. Let's start with Shell's global efforts. As a major energy company, Shell is focusing heavily on EV charging networks. One notable service is Shell Recharge, which converts existing gas stations into EV charging hubs, often including facilities like cafes. Shell leverages its global gas station network to repurpose locations as EV charging stations, allowing drivers to conveniently charge their vehicles. Shell is also committed to renewable energy, incorporating solar and wind power into its charging stations. These efforts reflect Shell's shift toward a sustainable energy future. Now, what about Shell in Japan? When people think of Shell in Japan, they usually think of gas stations. However, Shell branded stations in Japan are operated by ENEOS. This stems from Showa Shell Seikyu's merger with ENEOS in 2019. As a result, Shell branded stations in Japan are now part of ENEOS's operations, while Shell's global headquarters is actively expanding its EV charging business. It has not directly entered the Japanese market for EV infrastructure. In Japan, companies like ENEOS and other domestic players lead these efforts. Thus, Shell branded gas stations in Japan run by ENEOS are not directly linked to Shell's global EV initiatives. Let's now explore how gas station companies abroad are adapting to the EV era. In Norway, where EV adoption is among the highest in the world, governments and private sectors collaborate to build charging infrastructure. Many gas stations are being converted into EV charging sites. For example, Oslo's city government uses commuter data to strategically install chargers in urban parking lots and suburban gas stations. In Denmark, the architectural firm Kobe designs EV stations with eco friendly concepts, using wood and greenery to create comfortable spaces. By 2025, 48 such stations are planned for highways in Denmark, Norway, and Sweden. Across Europe, gas stations are increasingly transforming into EV hubs. The EU's goal to achieve net zero emissions by 2050 drives this trend. Companies like BP in the UK and Total Energies in France are adding chargers to their gas stations to support EV users. These examples show how gas stations abroad are adapting to the EV shift. What does this mean for Japan? In Japan, EV adoption is growing, but charging infrastructure still faces challenges. The government aims for 300,000 chargers by 2030, but as of 2022, only 42,744 are installed, with growth slowing since 2016. Globally, Shell plans to establish 500,000 charging points by 2025. However, it hasn't entered the Japanese market for EV charging yet. Instead, ENEOS is leading EV infrastructure efforts in Japan, collaborating with businesses to install chargers in parking lots of convenience stores and malls. The government also supports this through subsidies and deregulation. In the future, Shell might re enter the Japanese market, leveraging its global expertise. However, success would require careful consideration of Japan's unique market and competitive environment. for Japan's EV market to grow. Key factors include expanding charging infrastructure, reducing costs, integrating renewables, and addressing regional and policy gaps. Solving these issues could accelerate EV adoption and attract more players. Today, we've explored Shell's global efforts, its relationship with ENEOS in Japan, and international examples of EV charging initiatives. What do you think about gas stations becoming EV charging hubs? Share your thoughts in the comments. That's all for today. I'll continue to share updates on topics like Shell's EV business and global trends, so stay tuned for more. That's all for today's content. Thank you so much for watching until the end. If you found today's content helpful, please give it a thumbs up. Also, I share information about Tesla every day, so if you're interested in Tesla, don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Once again, thank you for watching until the very end. Let's enjoy a life with Tesla. P.S. On my YouTube channel, I mainly share information about Tesla, as well as EVs, the latest technologies, environmental topics, and Tesla stock. I gather information every day to create content for YouTube. Since I'm Japanese, my videos are primarily in Japanese, but I also make English versions like this one. I hope to connect with people all over the world and cheer for Tesla together with people from various countries. I'd really appreciate your support for my channel. I'd love to communicate with you through the comments and share updates on X, formerly Twitter. So let's connect there too. Thank you again for watching today's video to the end. Wishing you a wonderful day ahead.